Hi, we're Paul and David Karofsky. About 10 years ago, I had the pleasure of interviewing Ernie Boch about himself, his future, his business, and his legacy. And a lot has changed over the past 10 years.
Come on inside and hear our new conversation with Ernie Boch Jr.
Ernie, it's been 10 years since you and I last talked. And
doesn't seem like 10 years.
No. We met in your office, and we talked about how you got into the business, and your dad, and the history, and your grandfather, and the old Cadillac Motor Company of Boston, working in the back shop. And
I apologize for drinking coffee as we interview. I'm sorry.
Not a problem. Enjoy the coffee. Good marketing for Starbucks.
That's right.
They actually rent the building from me. I own the building, they rent it.
Perfect.
Yeah. So we want to pick up on that and talk to you about family business.
Sure.
About business, and about a whole bunch of things, and how the world has changed for you over this 10-year period, and how business has changed. So,
so what's different in the 10 years since we spoke to you last, and your dad was running, and you were kind of running sales?
So what year was that?
That was it was 2003.
2003.
So 2003 was the year my dad died. So you probably caught me right. He died in July, so it had
we interviewed in March.
In March, yeah.
Wow,
So he died in July.
Okay.
And when he died, I'll tell you, I thought I had a tough job. I thought I had the toughest job in the world. You know, we'd battle like family businesses battle. And, you know, that was what I call my hitting it hard years, where I woke up every morning, was into work by 7:30, wore a suit, stayed late, you know, really, you know, worked the business, had the meetings, everything, made all the decisions. And when he died, I'm sorry, that's what I call hitting it hard.
Yeah.
He died in 2003, and all of a sudden I realized what a breeze my job was. Because if I had a problem, I would go to him, explain the problem, he'd think about it, he'd give me the marching orders, and it would be done. I didn't have to decide how to attack the village, he just told me exactly what to do. And I'll tell you, 9 times out of 10 he was right. The one time he was wrong, the other 10 made up for it. It didn't matter. And then when I had to make the decisions, that was really, really the difficult part. And I did it all the way up until 2010 maybe. I did like 7 years where I had a really good run. I made some history, did some things that no other dealers in the world ever did in areas and franchises. And then I woke up one morning and I said, fuck this. I had my band was cooking. We had just toured North America with Deep Purple. I've been playing a lot, and I don't know what happened. The band has nothing to do with it. My marriage fell apart. The band had nothing to do with that, and that had nothing to do with my decision to not run the retail stores, and that's what the decision was. The decision was that I didn't want to get up every morning. I didn't want to get my hair cut. I didn't want to shave. I didn't want to do this. So I got somebody to run the retail stores. Right just after 2010.
So, to go back for a sec, your dad was your primary sounding board.
Absolutely.
Really giving you the advice and direction.
Sure.
And then dad passes away, and all of a sudden, I assume it can be lonely at the top.
It is, but I reached out. I had it took me about 8 months, 9 months to get a meeting with Jim Moran. The legendary Jim.
And you guys spoke about him 10 years ago.
When Sinatra died,
yes,
Tony Bennett became king. When Mr. Moran died, Penske became king. I've met with both of them. I went down to Florida.
Yeah.
I went down. Did I tell you about this?
No.
Well, you talked about it in the
Jim
interview,
is.
and you do actually referred to it in the interview. And you
That's
said the same
correct.
thing. It's
You
10
said
years
he
ago.
was,
you said the
he
same
was your
exact thing.
hero. He
Yeah,
was a legend.
and I went down and I met with him 4 hours. He gave me all his attention, met with his whole crew. I learned so much. So that's what I did. And then I talked to Penske, and I talked to some leaders of other industries. I talked to leaders of franchises, public companies, guys from Ford, General Motors. I talked to them just to see if I was sane. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. But Mr. Moran is the one that totally made me comfortable with my new role and validated my thinking. Okay. Because I have run, and will run it completely different than my father.